Hey, this is Ferres, the client acquisition coach for copywriters and the founder of the Copy Millions Blueprint. Hope you're doing amazing. I'm just here in my hotel room in Melbourne right now. So what I want to do in this short training is just walk you through a proven process on how to land your next 3 to 5 high-paying copywriting clients, or if you're just getting started, your first 3 to 5 high-paying clients in the next 30 days. Don't worry, by the way, if you're not a copywriter, the system works the same to land clients in nearly every freelance industry you can imagine. Clients for closing, social media, ad agencies, you name it. It even worked to land my DJ buddy a slot at Tomorrowland, one of the biggest dance music festivals in the world. So what I've found from my experience and the experience of my 100+ students from all around the world is that to hit 6 figures as a freelancer, there's really 3 things you need to get good at. So we go to my virtual whiteboard right now and have a crack at drawing some stuff. Hey, not too bad. So 3 key things needed to hit 6 figures as a freelancer. Number 1 is being able to attract quality prospects and clients to us. The right ones who need our help, the ones that we like, and the ones that can pay us. If no one knows you exist, it's going to be really hard to close anyone. So we need the systems and the tools in place to position ourselves as an authority so that there's a line out the door of people wanting to work with us. Second big piece, close. At the end of the day, you can have all the authority in the world, but if you can't close, then you will go home empty-handed every single time. So we need to know how to close these prospects over chat or on the phone, take them from interested to paying client. And third, up top, we have what I call the high income accelerators. The systems and the tools that we can use to speed up this process exponentially. So now you have a solid pipeline of prospects wanting to work with you. You're closing them like a boss. It's time to leverage, automate, and delegate things in our business so that you can scale to 6 figures and beyond without needing to be, hunched over your computer every second of the day. So when you get these attract and close pillars down, you're going to wake up with 2 or 3 messages every single morning from prospects who are interested. And of course, you're a killer on the phone so that you get a lot of them decide to sign up and work with you. Well, that's when we are making cash hand over fist. Right? Really as much or as little as you want. Completely up to you how many clients you want to work with once you've got those 2 skills down. If something comes up and you need $5,000 to cover an emergency, you have the confidence to go out and make it happen within a week should you need to. When you get these 2 pillars down, the attract and the high income accelerators, so the leads are coming in on autopilot and you've got systems in place to audition and book calls without your involvement, you have a cash printing machine that runs 24/7, so whether you're eating, sleeping, shitting, or working, you're booking calls and closing clients all the same. In other words, you have total freedom. Total freedom and unlimited potential to scale your income and your business because your income and your business isn't tied to how many hours you work anymore. See the difference? Now, finally, once we get these 2 pillars down, we get close and the high income accelerators, then you're helping a ton of businesses scale in a really meaningful way. You're making a big difference to not only their bottom line, but you're helping them sell a lot more of their products and services. You're getting those products and services in the hands of more of their customers, which is going to benefit their lives, of course, and the lives of all the people around them. So in other words, you are making a really big impact. So for the next person that tells you, right, you're selfish, you're only doing this for money, right? I just want you to just imagine there is a gym out there, right? And this gym has a load of great facilities and personal trainers, but they suck at marketing, right? Like a lot of brick and mortar businesses do. So I want you to imagine there is a 34-year-old college graduate, right? His name is Tom, let's just say. He's a busy lawyer working long hours. He doesn't really have much time to go to the gym. His diet consists of lots of fast food, right? Because he's really busy and he doesn't really exercise that much. So his health is slowly deteriorating and he's starting to have, maybe some heart problems and stuff like that. So he knows he should probably join a gym. It's good for him, and get some help with his diet and his exercise. So he goes to, let's say, an open day for this gym, right? He joins their email list, but the gym's not good at marketing, right? They don't really know what they're doing. So they don't really do much. They don't really send in really any emails. When they do send emails, it's just blatant promotional, 20% off membership, join this week, kind of, spammy stuff that goes straight to his promotions folder or straight to his spam folder. So he doesn't even see it. So because of this, nothing changes. Tom's health slowly gets worse until, one day, 36 years old, Tom, out of the blue, suffers a stroke and just drops dead, right? Tom's mum had to bury her son. Tom's children will grow up without a father. Now, let's rewind for a second. All right, I don't mean to get too deep on you here, but this is really important. So imagine you are an email copywriter for the fitness industry. Because you know exactly how to attract and close high-paying clients, like in this method I'm teaching you, you end up writing for this particular gym. They pay you handsomely because you write emails that constantly bring them new members to sign up for their gym every single week. Tom goes to the same open day, but this time he actually receives some emails from the gym. Your emails that are helpful, entertaining, you build a strong connection with the reader. So because of this, Tom ends up actually joining the gym. He gets a personal trainer, he starts exercising, eating healthily, he loses 40 pounds and he totally turns his life around. So not only is he now fit, healthy, happy, and the best shape of his life, but now he's setting an example for his kids, right? So his kids grow up happy and healthy, and so do their kids, and so on and so forth. Your emails change the trajectory of not only Tom's life, but his family's life and an entire generation of families for decades to come. Right, you might think I'm sounding a little bit dramatic right now, but I know this firsthand because I've written emails for someone who later told me that he has suicide notes on his desk. And these were notes written after someone decided not to take their own lives, right? Because one sentence in one email sparked a tiny flame of inspiration inside that person that led them to make a series of small changes, which led to a chain of big positive reactions. So instead of winding up hanging from a ceiling fan, their life totally changed. And it started with one email, right? I believe it is your fucking duty to learn and master this stuff, not only for your benefit, but for the hundreds and thousands of people out there in this world who need your help and your skills to change their lives. Okay? So when we get all three of these right, we are right here in the middle, and we ultimately end up with a flourishing six-figure freelance business, which pays you all the money you want, working as much or as little as you want from wherever the hell you want, and helps thousands of strangers all across the world make huge positive transformations in their lives as well. Tell me, what could be better than that? Right? So we're just going to call this, flourishing six-fig freelancer. Apologize for my absolutely atrocious handwriting. You're just going to have to deal with that. So to accomplish the big three, attract, close, and the high income accelerators, there are 9 accelerators that we have to learn and master. Obviously, we don't have time to cover all of those today, so I go super in-depth on each one inside my Copy Millions Blueprint Training Program, or CMB for short. But if you're a freelance copywriter and you're not at 6 figures yet, then almost always, I can guarantee the one thing you need to focus on, and the biggest piece that will move the needle in the beginning, is being able to what I call hunt. So I talk a lot about the concept of hunting versus farming, right? So farming is all the attract stuff over here. How to build authority, leverage social media, and some simple paid ad stuff so that clients come to you. However, a lot of this stuff takes a lot of time to set up, and it's more of a longer term play. So think of it like planting seeds and harvesting them until they blossom into a field of delicious corn, right? Obviously, once you've planted your crops, you can't eat them straight away. And it takes a bit of work up front before you can reap the rewards. But once you've taken the time to set it up, then you will never go hungry again. That's farming. Hunting is you are out there in the savannah with your bow and arrow, maybe a rifle if you're a little more sophisticated. You're hunting for a big, juicy gazelle to eat for lunch, right? Just like our ancestors did. It's a lot faster. You can go out there and in a matter of minutes or hours, you can come back belly nice and full. But what you kill is what you eat, right? So you do the work once to get the client and you have to go out there and hunt again the next day to get the next client, right? It works well to get clients quickly, but if your clients aren't retainer clients, then it's not a really great long-term sustainable approach. If you need clients and money now though, then it is an absolutely crucial skill to master. So that is exactly what we're going to cover in today's training. I am going to show you how to easily identify the influencers and business owners in your niche who are actively looking for a copywriter, that's you, the most effective and underutilized place to land clients in 2020 that honestly 99% of copywriters completely ignore. And then thirdly, the exact words to say when reaching out to prospects to virtually guarantee a reply. So here's the challenge. Here's the challenge that most freelance copywriters face when they're trying to sign their first couple high-paying clients. Firstly, they don't know the best places to look for clients. Facebook, Instagram, email, LinkedIn, Tinder. Should I put myself in a box and mail myself to their office? Right? By the way, I actually know a guy who did that and he actually ended up signing the client. I don't recommend it though, because you might get arrested, but you don't know which platforms you should be focusing on, which means you're sending out hundreds of cold DMs and cold emails and getting ignored or straight up rejected over and over and over again. Let's face it, getting left on seen is the most consistent thing in your business. And for the people that do reply, they're cold, they're skeptical, and you struggle getting them on the phone because they just don't want to do it, which means at the end of the day, you just can't seal the deal. You can't seal the deal on the phone. So they go, okay, thanks for the information, but they don't give you any money and they don't become a client. And then you're back to square one, let me go send out some more cold emails. And to top it all off, seeing all these posts in the Facebook groups and stories from people, right? Mainly my students and my Instagram stories, right? Saying, closed a new client today, another $2,000 in the bank. And you start to wonder, you can't help but wonder, what do they have that I don't? I've been at this for ages. When is it finally going to be my turn? And you start to grow a little bit envious. So then out of desperation, you start to lower your standards a little bit and maybe lower your rates. And maybe you even consider joining some of those gross freelancer sites like Upwork and Fiverr and working with shitty low paying clients who expect Agora level sales page on a shoestring budget, right? And before long, you get sick of those clients, you drop them, which is a huge relief, but then, oh shit, what do you do for money now? There's a little voice in the back of your head saying, I wonder if I'm really cut out for this, right? Maybe this whole freelancer thing isn't for me. At least with a job, I have a stable income, some stable cash flow, and you fear you might have to resort to getting a normal job, right? And working a 9 to 5. Right, so working a 9 to 5 or working with low paying clients. There's no way in planet Earth, to be honest, that you're designed to wind up working a 9 to 5, right? We both know that. But at this rate, you might not have a choice. Your rent isn't going to pay itself. So you tell yourself, I'll only work this low paying, miserable 9 to 5 prison sentence for a few months until I've got some steady cash flow coming in from clients. And then I'm out of here. Yet 1 year later, nothing's changed and you're still spinning your wheels in the mud. You're scared shitless that if this continues, you're going to wake up 5 years from now, still stuck in exactly the same place. However, let's not let that happen, okay? So what you want right now, of course, is total clarity on exactly where to find clients and exactly what to say when reaching out. And I think what frankly would be amazing is just a flow of hot leads every single day. Prospects who are friendly and cooperative, they respect you as an authority and are willing to engage in a dialogue. And at the end of the day, a calendar that's full of potential clients who know, like, and trust you. They're eager to talk to you on the phone and learn more about how they can work with you. Which means instead of this horrible downward spiral that we had before, when you get all of this stuff right, then you are on the path to have more clients than you can handle, right? And of course, the confidence to never stress about money or bills ever again, knowing that you can close clients and make money on command whenever you need to. And of course, the freedom to work whenever you want from wherever you want. And ultimately, a flourishing six-figure freelance business. And that is exactly what I want for you. So what I've found is that there are really three core areas we really need to focus on and get dialed in order to make all of this work. I call it the 3 W's. So firstly, we have the who, as in, who are you going after? It's really, really important that you get crystal clear on your niche and the service that you are providing to that niche. Second, we have the where. Where are you reaching out to them? Is it online, offline? You got to keep in mind how often the prospects check those mediums and also how crowded they are, right? Offline, as you'll see soon, is almost always better than online. And then thirdly, we have the what. So what do you say, right? What's the exact wording, the exact script that you use? So instead of, who are you? Go away. It makes them go, all right, let me see what this is about. I'm interested. See the difference there? So these are really the 3 keys to building a flourishing six-figure freelance business and being able to hunt effectively. So let's dig a little bit deeper into each one right now, starting with the who. So Craig Collins of Lead Pages has this really great thing that he calls the 5 whys, which is the simplest system I've ever seen to get to 6 figures as fast as possible. Let me just walk you through how that works right now. Cool. So we are going to pick one target market that we are going to serve. Right? What is a target market? Real simple. One person, one problem, one promise. So we have to target one person with one specific problem, and we make one promise to help them with that problem. So we're not trying to help everyone. We pick one type of person. We're not solving all of their problems. We're solving one big, urgent problem. And we're not making all these different promises and helping them with all these different things. We're going to give them and help them and provide a solution for that one big problem that they have. Got it? The second one, so we have one target market. The second one is that we have one service. So we're going to have one product or service that we sell, which is our copywriting, right? And maybe we can upsell them to run their social media too, or close for them as well, if those are other skill sets that you have. But we're not going to position ourselves as, hey, I can do your email marketing. And also, you know what? I'm really good at Facebook ads. Let me launch some of those for you as well. And by the way, I do SEO too. Do you want some of that as well? I see what your window's dirty. Let me clean it for some extra cash. It makes you look super generalist, and also, the paradox of choice, right? People, when they typically have too many choices, people typically don't end up picking anything. So we offer one service to make it extremely simple. All right, a confused prospect will not buy. The third one we have is one conversion tool, right? So we're not going to have a sales page that sells your copy services and a phone call that sells your copy services. And, oh, I heard that chat closing is pretty in right now. Maybe I'll sell a few over chat. Maybe I'll get some friends in the industry to be affiliates and close clients for me as well. None of that, right? We're going to have one tool that we use to sell our services. My personal recommendation is a phone call. The fourth one that we're going to have is one traffic source. One way we get leads into our funnel or into our world. So we can use email or Instagram or Facebook ads, LinkedIn, lumpy mail, visit the venue in person. We can do any of those, but we choose one. We focus on one and we build up one. Okay? Are you seeing how easy this is going to be? So we have, recap, one target market, one person, one problem, one promise. We're going to have one service that we sell. We're going to have one conversion tool to sell our copywriting services, to close the client. And we're going to have one traffic source to bring the leads into our pipeline so we can convert them into paying clients. The fifth one is one quarter. Okay? 3 months, 90 days. We focus on one target market, one service, one conversion tool, one traffic source for 1 quarter. Now, Clemens, who invented this, says it should be 1 year, but let's be real, right? If you're going really hard at something for 90 days and it's not working, adapt, right? Try a different approach. Maybe tweak one of these 5 ones, okay? But don't be like the sea of mediocrity out there that, tries something for 4 days, gives up, and then moves on to something else. Give it at least 90 days of consistent effort and you will start to see results, I promise you. This is the whole game, okay? When I shifted from trying to dabble in a bunch of different things to just focusing on these, my income went from $2,000 a month to $16,000 a month in 1 month, right? And it hasn't gotten lower than 16 grand a month since. The 5 ones, worship this diagram like a Bible. Now, a really great example of one of my students who crushes it with this is my student Tanner. So Tanner from Utah, he was an email copywriter, he was struggling to get clients. So I walked him through this exact process and he told me that he loves golf, right? And golfing. And I said, great. How about writing for golf stores? So he chose golf stores as his niche. And within a few months, he was earning $10,000 a month as a freelance email copywriter writing for golf stores in the area. And that is the power of niche. I've found from experience doing this with over 100 students in over 30 countries, every time we niche down further, we triple the attention from our target market, right? If you try to talk to everyone, then it's a bit like casting a fishing net out into the ocean. And if your message is too broad, right, if the holes in the net are too wide, what happens with the fish? Well, they swim right through. When we tighten up our messaging though, then yeah, of course, we're alienating like 99% of people. We're saying that this isn't for you, but that 1% of people that land on your page and sees your message goes, holy shit, this is for me. And you have their attention 3 times, 5 times, 10 times more than you would have. Right, so this is why we always want to be a specialist instead of a generalist. Specialists are sought after for their unique expertise, and typically they're paid a lot more than the generalist. So that is the who. Now, the second key piece of the puzzle that we need to take into account when it comes to being Leonidas, right, master of hunting, is the where. Now, what I mean by this is what platform are you reaching out to clients on? Because there are so many great places to land clients in 2020, right? You could reach out to prospects on Facebook. Facebook groups are great as well. You could do it on Instagram. It's one of my personal favorites. There's, of course, LinkedIn, Snapchat, email, TikTok, Grindr. You could send mail, physical mail, right? You could even show up to their house with a box of cookies, right? There are just so many places to reach out to clients. I want to talk about a really important concept, though, that I call the hierarchy of rejection. And it looks a little bit like this, okay? So many people hit me up all the time, every day, and they go, Sean, why aren't my cold DMs and emails getting seen? Why are they getting ignored? Why am I getting rejected? Why aren't they seeing my stuff? And I go, well, dude, let's think about it for a second from their perspective. So typically, if they are some kind of popular business owner, they're an influencer maybe, they probably have a really big following, right? They get dozens of emails a day, maybe even hundreds if they're subscribed to a lot of lists. And if you're only going after influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers or even 1 million followers, then the chances are they get dozens or even hundreds of DMs every single day. And it's going to be really, really hard to stand out. So I don't care how good your DM or your email script is, it's already buried in a sea of messages by the time they check their phone. It's just not getting opened. So if you look at this, what I call the hierarchy of rejection, all the way at the very left, at the very bottom, we have rejected. And this over here is accepted. Sad face. So typically all the way over here at the left, we have emails. Why emails? Well, if you think about it, most emails that you get, do you reply to them? Yes or no? Right? Typically, no. About 95, maybe even 98% of the emails that you get, they don't need a reply, right? It's like one-way communication. You read the email, maybe you don't even read the email, and that's it. You don't reply. So we're in the habit of not replying to emails. So that's why they're all the way over at the left. Moving on a little bit, we could have maybe DMs. That'd be a little further ahead because most messages that you get on Facebook or Instagram, do you reply? Yeah. I think about probably 80%, maybe even more, maybe even 90% of the DMs that you get, you reply. Why? Because typically most of the time, who are the people that are DMing you and messaging you? Friends, family. So you are in the habit of replying to most, if not all, messages that you get. So it's a little further than emails. What about on the phone? If you're on the phone with someone having a conversation, it's pretty hard to just straight up ignore them, right? Like, yeah, you could hang the phone up or something, but that's really rude, right? So it's way harder to just straight up ignore someone on the phone. And then all the way at the right, we have in person. If you're having a one-on-one conversation with someone in person and, they ask you a question, and if you just sat there and said nothing, that's either really rude or you're just kind of a social retard, right? So typically that doesn't happen, meaning if you're having a conversation with someone, they're not going to ignore you or, they might reject you still, but chances are you're not likely to get straight up ignored like you might with email, okay? So I'm going to show you how this all ties in, why it's all relevant in a second. So knowing this and knowing that all of our DMs and emails are getting rejected, what the hell do we do? Well, since we know the majority is always almost wrong, let's take a look at what everyone else is doing and do the exact opposite. If they zig, we zag. So if we know that everyone else is blasting your prospects with emails and DMs, how about we do something a little different? How can we stand out? Maybe you pop into their Instagram stories on an ad, right? A sponsored post that they see in a way that makes them feel like you're talking directly to them. Pique their curiosity, so they send you a message on Instagram and they actually reach out to you first. And I know this works because for half the people watching this right now, that's probably how you first found out about me. And you probably saw that. You probably saw the story at some stage. You sent me a message or you followed me. Maybe you clicked the link in my bio, which led you right here to this training. Okay. Don't worry. I'm not going to sell you anything on this training, but I want to demonstrate that's an example of showing up differently that works really, really well. Another example to show up differently, and this is my favorite, in my opinion, the number one way to land clients in 2020, I call it the WOW package. And all my students that have tried it, it has had a 100% success rate so far. So how about instead of sending an email, why don't we just take the address that's at the bottom of their email, all of the marketing emails they're sending, and why don't we send a physical mail to their address? We know they're already getting pounded with hundreds of emails and DMs a day, but how many physical packages do you think that they get to their house, their home address every day? 0, maybe 1, maybe 2 if they like to shop online, right? So picture this. They're sitting there at their desk in their office, on their laptop, working. They're busy ignoring the dozens of cold emails and DMs that are being thrown at them every single hour. And then all of a sudden, the doorbell rings. So they go, what's that? They stop what they're doing. They stand up from their desk. They have to walk downstairs to the door. They answer the door, and it's a courier with your parcel that he has to sign for. Do you think that he's wondering what's in the box? Do you think he's going to open the box or just go, nah, I don't want to see, and just give it back to the mailman, right? That box is getting opened. You know it. You know for a fact that your message is going to get an almost certain 100% open rate doing it this way. Now, is it going to guarantee a reply? No, but we're already 10xing our chances of success just by virtue of the fact that we know for sure that they're going to at least see your message. As far as exactly what to write in your letter and the other things to include in the box, I go over that really in depth in my 10-week Copy Millions Blueprint training program. I don't have time to cover it here, but it doesn't even really matter that much. Okay, you've already 10x your chances of getting a reply just by showing up this way. Just make sure you include some bulk in the package to ensure that it gets opened. So this could be a gift, a bottle of something, or even just anything to really make it stand out. A plastic foot, any kind of 3D object that makes it, stand out so it's not flat. Now, at this point, you're hearing me and you're probably thinking, yep, I get it. That sounds totally great. But you know what, Sean? That's kind of a lot of effort. I could send 20 cold DMs in the same time that it would take me to print out all this stuff and send a physical package. What I want you to realize is that that is exactly what everyone else is thinking right now, which is why no one does this. Even the people that know about this still don't do it, which is why it works so well. So let everyone else continue on with their cold emails and their cold DMs getting ignored and rejected over and over again, while you and we send out a couple packages in the mail, and we'll have our next 3 high-paying clients by the end of this month, while they're still stuck, spinning their wheels, sending these cold emails and these cold DMs, getting ignored over and over again. Now, by all means, this isn't the only way to do it, okay? But I want you thinking about ways that you can show up differently at every opportunity. For instance, not too long ago, I had a buddy who hit me up looking for a copywriter, as happens pretty frequently, right? I know a lot of business owners are always hitting me up looking for copywriters, and I introduce them to lots of my students most of the time. So I introduced this guy to 3 potential candidates in a group chat, 3 copywriters that I knew. 2 of them replied to the group chat, replied to my message, sent a text reply, right? Just as normal, just as you normally would. But the 3rd person was actually my student, Mr. Ray Pang. And he did something a little bit different. Okay, so instead of just replying with text, he sent a video reply instead of just typing the message out. He showed up differently, and as a result, my buddy Wade ended up actually choosing Ray over the other 2. And 2 weeks later, Ray was writing a VSL for the Wolf of Wall Street himself, Jordan Belfort. I'm not actually sure if I'm allowed to tell you that, but let's just keep it between us, okay? It's no surprise, though, that Ray was able to go from $0 to $10,000 a month in just 31 days after he joined CMB. Last month, he made $51,000. He's making 50 grand a month now, a little over 6 months after joining CMB. And he's now partnered with Wade. They formed a digital marketing agency, which is expected to hit 7 figures in the next 3 to 4 months. All of this has happened, and his business and his life and everything has exploded in the last few months, largely because he just showed up differently from everyone else. He's been able to reap the rewards as a result. Very cool. So that right there is the where. Now, the only missing piece of the puzzle that we haven't covered yet is the what. So we're clear on our niche. We know exactly who we're going after. We know we need to show up differently, and we know some great places to go after prospects. Now that we have their undivided attention, the only thing left to consider is, what do we say? Now, given you're watching this, that means you're probably a copywriter, or at least you have a decent grasp on the concept of copywriting, right? So this just happens to be your area of expertise. So I'm not going to spend too long on it. Now, if you haven't read my Clients on Command DM cheat sheet yet, there's a great script in there that you can use. It's totally free. The cheat sheet actually would have been emailed to you when you registered for this exact training. So just make a note to go and take a look at that later. And that's a great script that you can use that will tie in perfectly to the rest of the strategies that I'm teaching here. Not now though. All right, pay attention. We've still got more stuff to learn, but definitely check it out after this. So essentially, to summarize what I teach in there, the formula I always recommend when you're reaching out to clients is this. So it's going to be the in-group bias plus leading with a giving hand. Let's break this down a little more. My favorite way to create the in-group bias is, not surprisingly, if you've been following my stuff, name dropping. And name dropping gets a bad rap. I don't know why, but it's the fastest and easiest way to instantly make someone conclude that you are an insider, not just some random stranger. It is the fastest way I know of to create this in-group bias effect. So you might be thinking, well, hey, I'm not part of their social circle. I'm not part of their business network. We don't have a bunch of friends in common. How can I still create this effect? Well, maybe you've worked with a client that they know, that they've heard of. Maybe you worked with a client who's got a good reputation in the industry. Or if not, maybe you just heard good things about this particular person from someone, maybe on a podcast or something. Mention that. Hey, John, heard great things about you from Gary. Now, it sounds like you guys were having a one-on-one conversation and that you know Gary personally. But what if you just watched an interview with John and Gary where Gary said something great about John? There you go, in-group bias created in 5 seconds. Now, as far as leading with a giving hand goes, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to offer something for free, although of course a free trial wouldn't hurt, to prove your expertise. I would more come from the perspective that, if you don't get them results, then they don't pay you, right? Which is why working on commission can be a really great pitch. You just want to make it as risk-free as possible for them, and certainly don't come in like every Forex, crypto schmuck out there, from the perspective of what can I take? What's in it for me? What can I get from this person? You've already lost before you started, okay? And you know that firsthand because everyone who pitches you like that, you delete their message straight away. Always, always, always come from the perspective of what can I give, right? How can I help this person? And you won't go wrong. So about a year ago, I had an 18-year-old kid, James, join us in CMB. He was an email copywriter. This is a true story. He was an email copywriter working at a cafe, earning about $300 a week, because he had no clue how to get clients. He had just broken up with his girlfriend and been fired from McDonald's, so he was going through a pretty rough patch in his life. He managed to scrape together just enough cash to join CMB, and I taught him exactly this. He went out and applied it, and within a couple weeks, he had his first paying client. Fast forward 90 days, and that James kid, that 19-year-old kid, was making $25,000 a month, earning more than both his parents combined. He's since started a social media closing agency and is currently scaling up to $100,000 a month, just 1 year after being fired from McDonald's. All right, pretty insane stuff. So these right here are the 3 key pieces that we need to be savagely effective at hunting for clients. And if you can get all 3 of these right, then you will be leagues ahead of all the other freelancers in the industry that are trying to go after your clients. So that's probably enough drawing for now. Let's get rid of the whiteboard for a second and just chat. So I don't know exactly where you are right now on your freelancer journey, but I know that for me, when I first got started 2 years ago, I was spinning my wheels in the mud, trying to figure this client thing out and getting nowhere. I was eating up all the free and the cheap training out there, but nothing was working, and I wasn't getting any traction. I was working, at a minimum wage warehouse job, at a coffee warehouse, and I would work there for 8 hours during the day. And then I would, go to gym and I would go straight home and I would grind, until 2 a.m, trying to figure this client stuff out. I'm trying to get my business going. And I'd wake up on like 5 hours of sleep, exhausted, right? Sit in traffic and then do it all over again the next day. And I did that every single day for 2 years. I remember one day actually going to buy lunch. I'm sweaty, I'm exhausted, I'm starving. And I go to buy a banh mi for lunch across the street, a Vietnamese pork roll. And my card gets declined because I didn't have enough money in my account to cover it. Talk about embarrassing, right? So that was the day where I just went, fuck this. Enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of being undervalued, underpaid, and overworked. I need to get this client thing sorted. So that evening at 5 o'clock, I took my paycheck. I raced straight home to my laptop, hands trembling and heart beating out of my chest. I took all of my savings, including my piggy bank that I hadn't touched since I was like 12 years old, all my foreign cash, my savings account, tax money, every dollar I had. And I handed it over to a business coach. So with a grand total of $29 left to my name, I locked myself in a basement and I worked tirelessly for 3 months, implementing everything my new coach told me to do. Fast forward just 90 days after that, and I was making $10,000 a month as a freelance email copywriter. An absolutely mind-blowing amount of money to me at the time. I was working half the hours as I was before, and I was earning 5 times as much. I'm amazed. So after leaving my job in the dust, I began to travel from the white sandy beaches of Bora Bora, to the wild jungles of the Amazon and 40 plus countries in between. I traveled the globe, all while my freelance writing business grew month after month. I was working whenever I wanted, from where I wanted, and I was earning incredible money. I had free time to pursue my music career, and I frankly couldn't have been happier. Naturally, word started to spread. And before I knew it, I had a line out the door of people asking me how I did it. I showed a small handful of ambitious copywriters my newfound discoveries, and sure enough, their careers started to take off too. I finally had client acquisition down to a science. You see, after 3 painstaking years of trying to figure this out by myself before I eventually bit the bullet and got a coach, right? I learned 2 really important things. Number 1, having a mentor to show you the ropes isn't just the fastest and cheapest way to succeed. It's the only way to succeed. Trying to navigate the treacherous waters of online business alone is a bit like trying to swim from LA to Sydney with nothing but a compass and a pair of floaties. And the second thing I learned was that it's not about hustling, okay? That word, frankly, makes my blood boil. It's not about hustling and sending hundreds of cold DMs and emails. It's not about having experience or a portfolio or a big personal brand. Business owners don't care about that stuff, okay? They're busy and they just want results. The only thing that matters is making the right offer, aka the what, to the right person, aka the who, in the right place, aka the where. And if you can master that, then getting clients becomes easier than shooting fish in a barrel. And it's pretty reasonable to expect that you could land 3 new clients at $3,000 a month each in the next 30 days, and you're at 6 figures 1 month from now. So the question I've got for you is, what would it mean for you if you had a proven system to land clients on command? You knew exactly where to find them, exactly where to reach out to them, where they're likely to reply, and you knew exactly what to say to them to get them interested in working with you. That, I think, is the dream. So enough of this. Let's go back to the whiteboard. Let me wrap this up and I'll show you exactly how to implement all of this. So remember, being able to hunt, which we just covered pretty in depth, is only one of the 9 core skills that we use to launch your freelancing business to 6 figures and beyond. We've talked pretty in depth about hunting, but we haven't talked at all about the other 9, right? Things like auditioning, closing prospects, handling objections, creating your mousetrap and a lead magnet, demonstrating authority, building the personal brand, offering an elixir, productivity, networking, authorship. There are 9 core skills that we use in combination time and time again to skyrocket freelancers to $10,000 a month in record time. So the question is, would you like some help with this stuff? Because if you would, now could be the perfect time. This month, I'm starting a new case study program, and I'm going to take 6 freelancers to $10,000 a month in the next 100 days by showing them exactly step by step how to get their next 3 to 5 high paying clients using these 9 core skills. Same exact skills I gave to James Conti, Ray Pang, Tanner, and dozens of my other students who are killing it right now as freelancers. So this, frankly, is for 2 types of people. Number 1, you're brand new to this space and you're just getting your feet wet. We do have a skills accelerator on-ramp training to teach you the skills before we show you how to get clients. And the second category you might fall into is you already have a client or 2 and you're making a few $1,000s a month and you really want to scale up to $10,000 a month and beyond, without it becoming a full-time job and you becoming a slave to your business. So for the people in this category, I'm actually bringing in my top student, Ray, who will co-teach this with me. And he's going to show you how he grew his agency from $0 to $50,000 a month in 3 months. If you fall outside of those 2 categories, I'm sorry, I still love you, but this isn't for you. If you do fit into those categories though, and you want to learn more, rather than tell you all the details now, I've got them all saved in a short Word document on my phone. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more, just go ahead, click the button below, fill out the form, and just tell me a little bit more about your situation. If I feel like I can help you, we'll chat over Instagram or email, and I'll get you the details there about what we're doing, and you can decide whether this is something for you or not. So that'll wrap up this training on how to land your next 3 to 5 high-paying clients and sprint to $10,000 a month in the next 30 days. Thanks heaps for watching. It's been fun. Hope you learned a lot. Talk soon.